Hey there, I'm the MadCatster. Am I glad to see you here? Well, a lot of you are probably aware there's a lot of crazy stuff on Reddit, and sometimes when I'm doing research for some of these stories, I find some threads on Reddit that are helpful. Well, this weekend while I was trolling around Reddit, I found that there were some really interesting subreddits that had some really bizarre stuff on them. So tonight it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about crazy stuff on Reddit, and in particular the subreddit of Confidently Incorrect. So buckle up and let's go. I'm here with Sybil, and Sybil says, please like and subscribe. We're almost to 19,000. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And also, if you are subscribed, just double check and make sure, because some people have told me that they found that YouTube had unsubscribed them. And also people have told me that YouTube had turned off the notifications, even though they knew for sure they had turned them on. So please check your subscription status and your notifications. So let's talk about the subreddit Confidently Incorrect, where people insist that they know the facts, and in fact, it's usually quite the opposite. Now in this first one, and being a lawyer, I found this pretty interesting, and I'm gonna have to censor the words. I'll use a different word for what it actually says, because I don't want to get demonetized. It says, calling somebody blank in print before they've even had a trial is a great way to get sued if they beat the case or get the charge downgraded to manslaughter. You don't get manslaughter for S-ing and K-ing someone. Okay, Mr. Reddit judge. When has someone ever S'd someone to D and gotten manslaughter? Well, that's just ridiculous, and I hope most of you know that. Taking someone's life, and there are different degrees of that, and then there's manslaughter, and there are different degrees of that, and it's a complete fallacy to think that just because somebody died that it's not manslaughter, that it has to be, M. And that's not true. So I thought that was pretty funny. This just goes to show you the level of stupidity of some people. And so somebody says, it's easier than English. And the other person goes, you mean American? And the other person goes, it's literally English. And the other person goes, what? And he goes, the language name is American. So somebody thinks that we speak American and not English in this country, which is completely bizarre. And the next one, somebody's pointing out that there's this kid's graphic of the ABCs, and we all know the song A, B, C, D, F, G. Well, she points out that the graphic has the letters in the wrong order. And what she's talking about is it says HIJKMNLOP instead of LMNOP. And somebody goes, technically, the alphabet can be in any order. We're just taught it a certain way because of the song rhyme. And the other person goes, the order is alphabetical, which, we say alphabetical order. So yes, they are in a certain order. And they say that apparently this has been established in this order for a very long time, a few thousand years. Well, I don't know about that, but it's been for a long time. And other person goes, it doesn't mean it has to be in the order we are presented it in, though. And yes, it does, because we say alphabetical order. So yes, it does have to be in a certain order. And then there's a debate between a couple of people about what a country is. And one person says, Vatican City is a country, the world's smallest existing inside another country. And this person says, no, it's not. It's a city-state. People regard it as a country in general speak, but it is not. Just like people think Wales and Monaco are, but they're actually principalities. Just because we call something a certain thing or think of it in a way doesn't magically make it right. People think hyena are dogs because they seem similar, but they're absolutely not. Ironically, they're more like cats. And somebody says, Wales can be a country even if it is a principality. And just to get this straight, Wales is not a principality. Wales is a country. Yes, there's a Prince of Wales, the current Prince of Wales being Prince William, but he does not rule Wales. It's not a principality. Monaco, yes, Monaco is a principality. Prince Albert, who is the current ruler of Monaco, he's the head of state, and so it's a principality. But I looked it up, and okay, Vatican is a city-state, but it's also considered to be a country for international purposes. So they're kind of both right on that one. This one is the one that killed me the most. Okay, so this person says, how's a mortgage remotely similar to a loan when I don't get any money from the bank directly into my account? You're clueless. Maybe you should think before proclaiming to be a genius, Or maybe just stay quiet altogether. The other person has laughing, crying emojis saying, a mortgage is a loan. I feel so bad for you right now. The gap in your financial knowledge is too great for anyone to explain. The other guy goes, well, that's what people who can't explain anything anyway say to cover up their incompetence all the time. And the other guy goes, lol, so this isn't the first time someone has told you this before. And the other guy goes, no, there's no shortage of idiots and common sense isn't common. So I'm not really surprised. Well, folks, in case you didn't know, yes, a mortgage is a loan. When you get a loan, it doesn't mean that you automatically get money in your pocket. Like you get a car loan, the money doesn't come to you. The money goes to the car dealer. And same with a mortgage. You know, you have a lien on your house by the bank and the money goes to pay the seller of the house. So yes, it is a loan. And then this one too, being a lawyer, this cracks me up. This person seems to think that ordinances, which are like laws that are passed by city councils, thinks that ordinances are not law. They go, the town created an ordinance. Does not mean it would hold up in any higher court. Ordinances are literally hopes in a lot of cases, like a disclaimer sign. A sign doesn't make a law, nor does an ordinance make a law. And so the other person goes, an ordinance is a law. You could have saved all of that typing by just Googling what is an ordinance. Literally everything you typed is wrong. And somebody says, except it isn't a law, it's an ordinance, meaning a state law or federal law that would be less likely to infringe on those men's rights would take precedence unless the local authorities could show cause for stripping a right. Okay, this person's talking out their butt. Yes, an ordinance passed by a city is a law that has to be obeyed. It carries the same consequences as any other law you might break. And then I love these people who argue about the word usage in certain sentences. And this person says, scrolled past this, P-A-S-S-E-D. And the other person goes, no, it's past, P-A-S-T. The other guy goes, no, it's not. And the other guy gives him a link to the Oxford International Dictionary, where it tells the difference between past and past. And the guy who sends the link says, scrolled past is the same as drove past. And the other guy goes, the first guy goes, both of which are wrong. So clearly this guy has no idea what he's talking about. And then here's somebody who clearly doesn't understand what colonialism is. And he says, oh, lady, you need to read some New Zealand history. You're just humiliating yourself spotting this colonizer rubbish. New Zealand wasn't invaded by Europeans. Maori, who are the native people or the indigenous people of New Zealand, repeatedly asked to become part of the British colony. They wanted law and order, private property rights and protection. Well, if you know anything about colonialism, that's absolute BS, because yes, they were invaded, and yes, they were against their will colonized. So no, the indigenous people did not want to become part of the British colony. And then this one I love too is, you know the song YMCA, YMCA by the Village People? Well, a lot of people may not realize, and I mean, you see it like at weddings, you see it everywhere. But it's got, let's say, some gay intimate undertones. And so this is a very interesting conversation between two people about those undertones. And so this person says, I actually laughed out loud at this. It's a children's song, for crying out loud. And the other person goes, it's a song about intimate relations. The YMCA was a frequent hookup spot in 70s gay culture. Most people are blissfully unaware of this. And he gives a link. And this person goes, ha ha ha, no it is not. I read the Wikipedia, clown. Don't lie to the good people of Reddit. And he says, taken at face value, the song's lyrics extol the virtues of Young Men's Christian Association. However, in the gay culture from which the image and music of the Village People came, the song was implicitly understood as celebrating YMCA's reputation as a popular cruising and hookup spot, particularly for the younger men to whom it was addressed. And so, and yes, that's true. It's true. And the Village People, even though they all weren't gay, they were basically catering to the gay disco crowd. And so, yes, this song means more than you think it does. And it's definitely not a children's song. And then there are people who argue about math. And this person says, do you know what a billion is? 1,000 million. So that's like saying if I walk 1 kilometer, I've nearly walked 1,000 kilometers. Yeah, close enough. And the other person goes, 1,000 million? And the other guy goes, yeah, that's right. you no good at maths as well, pal? And the guy goes, a billion is 100 million, pal. And the guy goes, you effing imbecile. Well, clearly 100 million is not a billion. It's 100 million. We have 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. So the other guy, the first guy is right. 1,000 million is a billion. So the argument sometimes, and there's another one coming up right now that is absolutely inane. It's the stupidity of the argument. Two people get into an argument, believe it or not, over what Winnie the Pooh's favorite color is. And the first guy goes, hey, what's Winnie the Pooh's favorite color? And the other one goes, yellow. And then the next person goes, no, it's red because of his shirt. And the other guy goes, no, it's yellow because he loves honey. And the other guy goes, you have no idea what you're talking about. And then they show a page from a Winnie the Pooh book that says, then Pooh says yellow like honey. That's my favorite color. So, you know, I hope that was time well spent on that stupid argument. There's a discussion about what road rage is. And somebody says, honking and flipping somebody off is road annoyed. Road rage happens when you use your car as a weapon or chase someone down for a confrontation. I hope you're better at your career or passions than you are at reading an uncomplicated interaction. Well, yeah, and the other guy points out that the criteria by the AAA as well as Geico Insurance says that that is actually road rage, and it is true. You do not have to have some form of violence for it to be road rage. Honking your horn, giving somebody the finger, yelling at somebody, that's all road rage. If you lose your cool when you're on the road and you act like an idiot, that's road rage. And then here's another discussion. Here we are again talking about colonialism, and it just amazes me the ignorance of some people. And so this person, who's I'll call red because it's highlighted red, considering their societies were conquered and their people were made to work to get resources they weren't even going to benefit from, while the colonial administration only built things that benefit and speeded up such extraction. Yeah, especially consider they did have working, and it trails off. And then the other guy goes, your understanding of colonialism is childish. Colonial projects in the places you describe were always more taxing on the colonizer than the colonized. All the African colonies the UK had ran huge deficits. Anybody who thinks that people who are conquered and colonized and subjugated have it worse than the people who have taken over and seized power and are taking the resources needs to go back and read a history book and a sociology book. And so then we have, thank God this time, the idiocy is coming from Europe and not the United States. And this guy says, from where? And the guy says, Grammy, but live in UK. And the person goes, where is Grammy? In what country? And the guy goes, where is Grammy? London, my lady. And the person goes, what? Grammy is in London? It means you were in the UK. And London is not a country. What is Grammy? A district of London? And the first guy goes, I mean that I live in city of London in UK. And the other person says, where is Grammy? In what country is Grammy? And the other person goes, Europe. And so the second person goes, what country in Europe? And the second person goes, Grammy, my lady. And the person goes, there is no such country in Europe, my lord. It looks like you are lying. Cracks me up how they address each other. He says, you can check it in your country map or Google it by yourself, my lady. And the other person says, I know geography enough to know that there's no such country in Europe as Grammy, but maybe just for mental exercise, can you show it to me on the map? And the person goes, I don't have time for that. You can check by yourself. What do you take me for? And so the other person puts the map up and says, where? This is Europe. Where is your Grammy? There is no such country. You made up the stupidest lie in the history of scamming, my lord. And the person points it out where Grammy is, and it's the Federal Republic of Germany. So, and the person goes, that's Germany, not Grammy. And then here's another incidence of stupidity. Red person goes, not a teenager. That word does not mean 19 years old. And the blue person says, 19, it's literally in the word. Wow, Red says, that settles it then. No, it's not a literal term, but something to describe someone below the age of majority. And then another person chimes in and says, no, it's not. A teenager is someone from 13 to 19. Therefore comes the term teen. Hello? Anything under 20 is a teenager. And then here's some discussion, and some of these are taken out of context, so I don't know what the discussion was before, but this one, the person says, They both speak Russian too. There is no Ukrainian language. Hello, tell that to the Ukrainian people. And it says, it's like saying American English. You literally can't tell them apart. You can't tell British English and American English apart. I think you can. Back when I was in school, they were all joining the same gangs as they all spoke Russian. Same name, same faces, same language, same everything. Well, and this is actually absolutely true. And maybe sometime we can talk about it on a podcast or something, but I'm literally descended from the founders of what used to be called Kievan roots, which is basically Kiev was basically like a kingdom, okay? And out of that came Russia. So Vladimir Rasputin likes to say that Ukraine is historically part of Russia. Well, I've got news for him. It's kind of the other way around because Kiev came before Russia did. So before there was ever a Moscow, there was Kiev. My God, yes, they have their own language, and although it may be similar because it's a Slavic language, it is not Russian. And I think if you went up to any Ukrainian and told them that they speak Russian, they'd probably haul off and hit you. And then again, as a lawyer, I found this one was funny. Red person says, no, you can't legally drive it on the road, but you can't get in trouble for damaging it if it's on your property. It's technically the same as someone dumping trash in your land. Then the yellow person says, this is just patently incorrect. You can be legally held liable for damages as well as potentially charged with a crime if it rises to criminal level. And that's true. If somebody leaves their car in your driveway, you can't go out and smash the hell out of it, even though it's on your property illegally, let's say. It's still, you don't own it. It's not, people always get this, you hear people say all the time, oh, possession is 9/10 of the law. Well, people, that is the oldest fallacy in the world. No, possession doesn't mean anything, okay? You don't own it just because it's in your hand, all right? So if somebody's property is on your property and you destroy it, even though it was on your property, you're still liable, okay? So possession is not 9/10 of the law, and anything you find on your property is not yours to keep. And so this next one, which is another colossal case of stupidity, and I'm going to use the word, I'm going to say arism. I'm not going to use the whole word. And it says, yep. And you can tell this is another alt-right person. And they say, yep, 100% fact, 100% fact. Fact from probably Facebook or something. Arism only came into being when Black communities started getting irritated that they had to work like everyone else and have the same treatment as everyone else, which is why I crack up when I hear Black people talking about it. It's like, come on, how ignorant are you? I don't think I have to elaborate on this one. We all know that how absolutely ridiculous that is and how absolutely bigoted this person is for saying it. And then this one I love, okay? Here's two people, apparently, I think, because these things are come out of context, that are posted on Reddit. And so I think they're talking about evolution. And so the alt-right person says, if humans evolved from apes, why are there still apes? Before any dumbass lefties chime in, and first of all, why do you have to be a lefty to understand science? Okay. I never understood that. Why does it believing in science and facts and actual facts make you a lefty? So I don't know, but I'm happy to be a lefty. I certainly don't want to be somebody on the other end of the spectrum who's an idiot. And he says, before any dumbass lefties chime in, why are the apes that are still here not evolving into humans? And then the other person replies, why should every ape species evolve into humans? There's no reason for that to be the case. Well, people, it's a common fallacy. Apes are a completely different species, okay? At one point, we had common ancestry, but over thousands and thousands of years, humans developed in a different way and off on a different tangent than apes did. That's why there's still apes. They didn't evolve the same way that humans did. But God did not wave a magic wand and we dropped down into our chairs with our computers and here we were all developed. And that's not, unfortunately, according to the scientific record, fossil record, and anthropology, that's not how it happened. As much as some people would like to not believe that, but technically they're both wrong. Anyways, and so then there's this last one that I think is pretty funny. And again, it's ignorance at its best. Person says, so I was working on making chicken tortilla soup. I normally put corn and black beans in it. This was the first time I really looked at the back of the can. I couldn't believe it. And so if you look, they show the first shot is the front of the can, and it says black beans, and on the back it's the Spanish word for black, but this person obviously thinks it's something different and something bad, and of course it's not. It just happens to be the Spanish word for black, and it's frijoles negros is what they call black beans. And so that ends the Reddit selections I pulled from the Confidently Incorrect thread. Let me know if you like these. If you did like them, I have others that I've looked at, other subreddits that I found some pretty humorous stuff on that I will share with you. So if you like these, let me know down below, and I will make another one about a different subreddit. I do have some other videos coming on, the normal tea stuff that I do. Also, be on the lookout. I'm almost ready to launch my podcast, which is going to be called the Totally Gnarly Podcast, because I'm a child of the 80s and it's just a throwback. The theme is a throwback to that, but it's not going to just be talking about the 80s. So we'll be talking about all kinds of current stuff. So be on the lookout for that. This week I hope to record the first episode. I'm just waiting for some stuff to arrive. Thank you so much, you guys, to our Patreon patrons. Please know how much we appreciate your support. And to all our channel members, thank you so much for your support. I do have somebody to thank from the Amazon wishlist. I did recently revise Sybil's eating treats, so if you hear crunching. I did revise the Amazon wishlist and updated it. So if you are interested, the link is down below. It's just stuff for the cats, nothing for me. I want to thank Dafan P, and I hope I pronounced that right, Dafan. At first I thought it was Daphne, but then I realized it's not. It looks like it's Dafan. I hope that's right. Thank you so much for the Boo Buffalo canned cat food. The cats love that stuff, and it was a nice change of pace for them because usually I feed them Friskies, and they were very happy to have it. So thank you so much for that. Thank you everyone for all of your support. I hope you're having a great March. Next week is daylight savings. We'll finally get more daylight and get more towards spring and have an extra hour of daylight in the evenings, which will be nice. But you guys, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.